Guys, in this tutorial I'll be showing you how to change image every second in JavaScript. So let's start by creating a HTML file. Now let's save this HTML file. First of all, let's create a folder where we're going to be saving our HTML. Let's call this folder JS slide. Now let's save our HTML inside this folder. Let's call HTML index.html. Now let's start by adding content to our HTML. Now we create a div with class slide C. This div will house our image files. Let's create an image. So I'm going to give this image ID image1, and I'm going to also give it class visible. This will be the first image that will be seen on the screen once the HTML document loads. Now let's copy and paste this image into 5 different places. Now let's change the classes of the other image to hidden. For this image will remain hidden once the page loads. Now let's also change the ID, give them different ID, and change the image source to different images. Now let's style our HTML. Let's give our body background color. Let's style our slice container. Let's give it width 600 pixels and height 400 pixels. Let's position it relative and bring it out from the left margin 260 pixels. Let's give it top 100 pixels. Now let's style our class, our visible class. Let's set the display to be black, and let's also style our hidden class. Let's set the display to be none. Now let's also style our image. Let's give it width 100% to match the parent container. Then we're going to give it height 400 pixels. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to copy our image files to our working directory so that we can be able to show this image. Now I'll get my image files from my images folder. Let me copy this image and paste them in my working directory. Now let's run the code and see what we get so far. As you can see, the first image with class visible is seen on the screen. So let's script our image. Let's add our JavaScript so that we can get what we are looking for. So I'm going to create a variable called active image ID and initialize it to 1. Create another variable next image ID and also initialize it to 1. So next I'm going to start set interval with callback function. I'm going to set the time to 1 second, which is 1000. Now once the set interval calls, I'm going to increment next image ID by 1 to generate the ID of the next image to be displayed on the screen. So I'm going to use a conditional statement to check if next image ID is less than 5. If it's less than 5, I will execute the following block of code. And let's start document that gets element by ID. Now let's get the active image by its ID and change the class from visible to hidden using .class list.replace, replacing the visible class with the hidden so that the active image will be hidden so we can be able to display the next image. So now we are going to change the class of the next image from hidden to visible, so we can display the next image. Then set active image equals to the next image. Now else, if next image ID is not less than 5, that means it's equals to 5, we are going to do the following. Let's copy and paste the following code. Now I'm going to set active image to be equals to 5 and next image to be equals to 0. So at this point, what we're able to achieve, if we are showing the last image, then what we're going to do, we change the next image ID to be 0. So when next time the set interval occurs, it can increment by 1 and the first image will be displayed again. So this continues. Now let's see what we get so far. Let's test the code and see what we have so far. Now as you can see, everything is working just fine. The code is working properly. So keep coding, and thanks for watching.